Strategy number 3, to build your network, cut down your liabilities, cut down your debt. That's automatic network building. Remember, your network is your assets minus your debts. Okay? Your assets. Let's say assets is 10,000. Liabilities or debt is 6,000. Net worth is 4,000. That's the real value. Well, oh yes, I'm aware. For some people, asset is 10,000, liabilities is 13,000. Net worth negative 3,000 minus. Okay. So, without even acquiring any new assets, you begin to cut down the debt. Okay, let's start from the negative scenario. So you're able to pay off 1,000, it's now negative 2,000. If you pay 2,000, it's now net zero. You pay 1,000, now positive 1,000. So payment of debt or liabilities is automatic increase in net worth. We ask people to pay attention to the payment of debt because a lot of people owe debt actually that has high interest rate on it. So if you say you want to build your network, you put your money in assets. Let's say you're getting appreciation of 5% per annum, or let's say 8% per annum, on your money, or even 10%. But most of the money you owe is on a credit card where they're charging you 24% per annum. See, you're making the money, but the debt is taking the money away. You're building the asset, but it's still negative, net negative. So you want to take out the debt and you want to attack fast the ones with the highest interest rates. Okay? So to build your network, cut down your liabilities, cut down your debt. And by the way, if some of us may actually even need to adjust our philosophy, okay, about life, because we don't have much restraint when it comes to owing. So you've got to be able to exercise the restraint or you've got to be able to exercise discipline. Okay, good. So it's not like you're paying off debt and you're acquiring new ones. Why did I say that we need to shift our mindset? I remember I had an adult say many years ago, whether it is my money or somebody else's money, my prayer is that I should not lack any. That's all. So when I had that, I knew this person would not care whether it was his money or somebody else's money, he would blow the money. See? So if you're going to build your network, you've got to shift your mindset on that kind of a thing. Okay, this is what I have heard rich people say. If you're going to borrow for investment, not for consumption. Or they say borrow for production, not for consumption. Okay, talk more about that later. So one major thing that influences your approach to assets and liabilities is your network. That's the other big word in our discussion today. Your network actually influences your net worth. It influences your attitude to assets and to liabilities. An airline pilot was prevented from financial ruin because a friend encouraged him to acquire a parcel of land and to build. I'll never forget this story because the pilot told me the story himself. He had just been retired by the airline. Suddenly, and he said he would have been ruined but for the fact that he had an asset that had been appreciating for years. He told me decades before, his close friend had said to him, look, I'm trying to buy land somewhere. Come along with me. Let's go look at it. They drove to the outskirts of Lagos, Nigeria. They drove out. He said it was bush. It was bush, okay? And they had to leave the road. They parked the car by the road and walked into the bush to get to that tract of land. And his friend said, so I'm buying land here. I wanted to buy land here also. And he said, how much is it? But I can't afford that. I don't have that kind of money. The guy said, look, the landowner is a very nice gentleman. He is taking the payment in installments. He just wants it to be regular. So every month, make sure you're paying. He told me, if I exactly the part of Lagos, where the landlord lived. It was not far from a building called Kalakuta Republic. Okay, and that was where one of the most famous musicians from Nigeria lived, Fela Kuti. So Friday nights, he said every Friday night they would go, to watch a musical show. And then he would just walk to the house of the landowner and give him the installment for the month. He said, for me to understand how remote the place was, there was a day he tried to go to look at the land himself, and he was lost. He could not locate the way to the land. It was in the bush. So he said he was paying consistently like that every month. And one day, he took the money there, and the landowner said, what is this for? And he said, my payment, my regular payment. The man said, when you paid last month, you had completed your payment. He wasn't even keeping track himself. Fast forward many years later, decades later, he was retired all of a sudden. And by now, he had built on the land, okay, a semi-detached building. So you have two mansions joined together, 5 bedrooms each. And he had tenants in the two of them. Okay, so the airline that he was working for was owned by the government. So they actually had staff quarters, so he had official accommodation. He didn't need to pay rent. And he was busy earning, the rent from the buildings. So when he was sacked, he just gave notice to one of the tenants. When their rent expired, they got out. He moved into the house. Renovated it, moved in to one part of the two houses. That part of the city was now fully developed. The value very high. Okay, but where am I going? That whole experience of investing, was prompted by a friend. Honestly, your association to a large extent can determine whether you'll be someone whose net worth is appreciating or depreciating. It's very important.